Hello friends and welcome to my channel. My name is Jess and I'm so glad that you guys are joining me because today we are going to be doing a reading journal reflection. We're going to be talking about the books that I read for September, which obviously this is not all of them. And we're also going to be talking about the books that I'm going to be reading for October. So, or at least like the physical copies of the books that I have. I'll share those ones, but I'll talk about the other ones too. So if you guys want to do a flip through of my reading journal and just kind of reflect on the month and how my reading went, then grab your stuff and stick around. So October I feel like it was a really good month for reading. I finished a total of 16 books, cleared 4 of them off of my physical shelf. And of the 4 that I have cleared off my physical shelf, 1 of them I have already sold. So I was really excited about that. Okay, so in terms of my reading journal, if you are new here, I have been keeping a reading journal since 2021. In 2020, I started keeping like a monthly calendar, and that was really it. But in 2021, I really fully dived into the reading journal. And this year, it is a combination of pages that I created, a few printables, and then monthly calendars. So first one is my books read. These come from Plan with Elise. This is her 50 book reading 50 book bookshelf, and then basically what I did is I cut it out and I put it onto filler paper because I wanted to have 3 on each one, so that way as you're like flipping through, you're always seeing this wonderful header. So the way that I do this is I put in each month the books that I read, and then I color code them based on how I reviewed them. So number rating and color coordination. Yeah, so I'm basically completely updated as of today is November 5th for all of the books that I've read. So we have like a combination. Now I will say I feel like October has been my worst month in terms of ratings because I had 4 books that I gave only 3 stars. The other ones were a combination of 4 and 5, which is obviously good, but it was also a really good month for ratings because there was 2 books that I gave like a 10 star, which is like 10 star is basically a 5 star, but I absolutely adored it and I want to read it over and over and over again. So yeah, it was like a good book, a blah book, a phenomenal book, a really good book, a good book, 3 phenomenal books, a good book, a blah book, a good, an absolutely out of this world, exceptional book, a good book, a blah book, a good book, a blah book. And then for November so far, I have 1 good book. So I think I like that rating, a blah book for a 3 star. I'm gonna have to remember that. But yeah, so I really like these bookshelves. I love having like the color coded books based on what I thought of them. And then we come to my Goodreads challenge goal. So this is a printable that I created myself because I had created a sheet where I drew each of like a round corner box, and then I ran out and I needed more because I've read 178 books this month. So I ended up just creating something in Canva, printing it out, and that's what I'm using now. But yeah, 178 books. My original goal was 100. After I beat that, I was just like, you know what? Let's just see how many books that I read. I'm not gonna like create a new goal. And then we come to my TBR. I will admit my TBR pages are a joke because I basically kind of gave up on them. I did though realize that there was one book on my TBR that I had read a couple months ago and I never marked it off. So I went ahead and marked it off. But as you see, I have a lot more books that I have written down. Like I literally, like my TBR is out of control. And I kind of decided that it was not really worth keeping this because I wasn't keeping up with it. I wasn't adding to it. I wasn't marking things off in a timely manner. And my TBR is literally all the books in the world. And then we have my daily reading. And so basically I just color in each day that I read. Reading for me means either physical books, my Kindle, which is plugged in and charging because it's almost dead, or I do audiobooks. So I do have a variety of reading. So most days I will either do Kindle and audio or physical and audio or physical and Kindle. Some days I've only done audiobooks. There have been a couple days where I've only done audiobooks. It's very rare though, honestly. But every single day I do have some form of reading, at least 30 minutes. Because then we come to my reading in pixels, where I basically mark off at least 2 of the forms of reading that I did that day. So if I have a day where I said that it was physical and audiobook, very likely that I also did a Kindle that day too. But I do have it completely updated up until yesterday. So by the end of the night, I will fill in for November 5th. So I think it's really interesting because like I'll kind of notice that I'll go through spurts where I won't read a physical book. There are spurts where I wasn't doing audiobooks. So it's really kind of interesting to me. But I do like that I've been adding on more yellow because I'm really trying to read my physical books too. And then we go to my A to Z challenge. So these are just basically books that I'm marking them off as I read them based on the first letter of the title. So the only ones that I have left is D, E, Q, R, and U. And I'm almost positive that I have them, but maybe right now, Duke tried to steal my whiteout. Maybe right now those books have the word "the" in front of it, and by the end of the year, I will go through all of the books that I've read and see where I can be able to fill it in. So I was also doing a DNF page where I would basically write out the book that I DNF'd that month and kind of why I didn't like it. I stopped after May, mainly because I kind of realized that I didn't want to reflect on the books that I DNF. Like when I go back and I kind of see the book, maybe at a later time, I'll think that I want to read it. But I don't know, like I don't want to track that negativity sort of idea. So I did stop doing that. And then we have monthly arcs. So this one got a little complicated. So at first, so basically arcs are advanced reader copies. And basically what I was doing is I was writing down the arcs that I read, how many stars I gave them, the date that they published, and then the dates that I read them. Well, January and February was great because I read 5 each month. And then March and April were higher books. And it kind of got to the point that I couldn't be able to write in like any information. So I just basically stopped. But this has been a very arc heavy month in terms of both audiobooks and Kindle books. But I really enjoy it. Like, I don't know, I guess I just enjoy the idea of being able to read an advanced copy. So October, I read 9 arcs. So I want to say 3 of them were Kindle books. 3 of them were audio, and then 6 of them were Kindle. So Midnight is the Darkest Hour and Wildfire, these were ALCs. Holly Jolly Ever After, I actually had this one on the Kindle, but because I couldn't get to it before the pub date, I just went ahead and listened to the audio. But then Bride, Better Hate Than Never, Love Interest, Friends Don't Fall in Love, The Predictable Heartbreaks of Imogen Finch, and Plot Twist, those were all Kindle books. And I want to say I'm almost done with my first arc for November, so I'm off to a good start. And then we come to my yearly review. So basically, I am writing down the total number of books that I finish, and then I'm breaking it down into how I read them. So let me kind of explain October, because I mentioned earlier in the video that I read 4 books from off of my shelf. I actually only have 3 of them because I've already sold the 4th one, but basically, I read the book Such Sharp Teeth. That was a physical book. That's the one that I've already sold. I read Wrong Place, Wrong Time. I read the majority of this as like either a physical or I was listening to the audio while reading the physical. A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon. This one, most of it was either physical or physical and audio at the same time. And then Just Another Missing Person. The only one I didn't count for the physical was Just Another Missing Person, because this one was very confusing. And I ended up listening to the audiobook for the majority of it. However, I'm still counting it as like, in terms of my reading, I counted this one as an audiobook, but you'll see later on, I'm counting it as a physical off my shelf because I'm counting this one as read and I'm getting it off my shelf. So I'll kind of explain that later. But yeah, so total was 7 audio, 3 physical, and 6 Kindle books read. And then we come to my 2024, which is basically where I write down when books that I'm looking forward to, when they're coming out. I have not been keeping up with this. I'm seeing posts on Instagram where they're like, these are books that are coming out in 2024 that you should keep your eye out for, whatever. So I need to go back through those posts and really update this. And then 2024 plans, I created it. I haven't used it. I honestly, at this point, I don't even know if I'm going to use it. And then we come to my fall reading. This is what I was talking about with the physical books from my shelf. So Such Sharp Teeth is one I mentioned, but I don't have because I've already sold it on Pango. I was really excited about that. A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon, Wrong Place, Wrong Time, and Just Another Missing Person. I'm using this to kind of track, or to kind of challenge myself to read more physical books from my shelf. Because once I can say that that I read the book, then I can take it off my shelf. I list it on Pango to try to sell it, because it's not worth it for me to always keep physical books. Number 1, I don't have the space for it. But number 2, I really only want to save books that are super special to me. And while I enjoyed these books, they're not ones that I want to save. Which, by the way, if you look in the description, if you are ever interested in purchasing any of my physical books, you can do so on Pango. Basically, I list them for a good discounted rate from the retail price. So I love Pango. I've purchased books from there before. Highly recommend using it. And I try to ship things out either that day or the next day at the very latest. So this is my summer reading challenge. I only read 3 books from my well-intentioned list. However, I went ahead and saved the little pictures that I printed out because I would like to eventually read those books. And then in that case, I will go ahead and put them on there and mark it off. And then we come to the Joyful Book Club, or Joyful Chaos Book Club. So basically, my book club is one of the book club girls where we get sent books each month from a publisher. I have done horrible in terms of reading them, but I'm really trying to do better. I also realized that I've read Venko. I listened to the audio actually before I got the book. So I do want to reread it, but I can technically go ahead and put in the rating that I chose. I can say that I've read it. So we have done horrible. I've done horrible in terms of reading the book. So I'm really, really trying to do better. So let me share with you the books that we got for October. So the books that we got for October is Murder in the Family, by Kara Hunter. This is one that I'm actually going to be reading for the month of November. And I'm really excited because it's all like in the format of basically emails, text, conversations, such as that. So I'm really excited about that. We got the book Shenville by Paulette Giles. And then we got the book The List by Yomi Adegoke. I don't know if I pronounced it right, but these are the three that we got. Like I mentioned, Murder in the Family is one of my November reads. If I get time, I want to read The List. This is one I'm kind of a little on the fence about reading, but I do want to eventually give it a chance. And then what I'm doing is, after I read the book, I'm putting in some rating stickers from Wrong Wrong's Bookworm Planner sticker book. And then I'm just basically putting in how many stars that it is. Number one, that helps keep me accountable for reading the book. And that's my way of tracking the rating. So in terms of what I'm reading for October, I mentioned that I was going to be reading Murder in the Family. Well, the other one that I'm reading is The Blonde Identity. This was one that we received in September. I had actually already listened to the audiobook before it was announced that this was the book for September. So when we got it, I was like, that's perfect. I want to read it again. So I'm about a third of the way through, maybe. I mean, it's a really, really, really good book. So if you haven't put The Blonde Identity on your TBR, make sure you do so, because I highly recommend it. It is fun. It's just a really, really, really fun book. It's like a spy rom-com. So we've got 2 more months of that. And yeah, it's exciting. Okay, so books I currently own. I honestly am not really keeping up with this like I should be, and I probably need to do better. But I don't think I have any update for that. Yeah, I don't think so. Okay, so then let's go to my months. So I'm just using a Happy Planner monthly calendar where the currently page, and my currently pages have been not very consistent. So the idea is to share the photos of the covers of the books that I read, my TBR list, and important dates, which is Zoom dates for my book club. So these are all the books that I read in January. And then in the monthly calendar, I put in when I started and when I finished the book. Sometimes I'll put in like how many books that I read that month. Like I'll break it down. Sometimes I don't. So then here's February. February was so many that I needed 2 pages. So I created this little tip-in. And then here's my month. And then March, had a lot of them again. I did my whole TBR, Zoom dates, like I decorated it. And then March, I love the colors of the highlighters. I just think it's so fun. So April, I didn't write in the TBR. I messed up on our Zoom dates, but that's okay. At least I put in the photos of the books. And then April, I just did when I started and when I finished a book. And then May, I put for the TBR, Duke picks my next book because I was having Duke pick it out of a jar. I did not write in for any of our Zoom dates, but I did the photos. And then here's May for start and finish. I did do like Kindle. I know that was audio, Kindle, and physical book. And then June, again, it was just the photos. Start and finish. See, I stopped decorating, and I don't know, I'm trying to decide like how do I want to do it next year. And then July, again, no TBR, no dates, just photos. And then start and finish. And I honestly think sometimes I like doing it just the simple because, like, I don't know. Sometimes I like it to just be functional. Apparently that was supposed to get combined. That was supposed to be taped together and it didn't. So August, I did go ahead and put together a TBR, but I didn't do any of these TBR. I only did these ones. No Zoom dates, but here's the books that I read. And then August start to finish. And then September, I did go ahead and put in dates and TBR list. And as I'm kind of looking at it, like, I can tell you, like, some of these I did, and some of them I didn't. And I find it really interesting. Like, the only one that I didn't do, this was actually a series of 4 books. It just didn't happen. But look at how pretty it is. And then September, start and finish. And then October, so I had my TBR, which I kept up with. I have the important dates, my photos. I love it. And then start and finish. Really, really pleased with how I kept up with this. And then now I think my next step is going to be, like, I've got my TBR for November started, but I need to kind of figure out for Kindle books and for audiobooks what I wanted to do. And then I need to fill in November dates. So let's go ahead and talk about November books. Oh, and this is what I've kind of started for books that I started this month. But let's go ahead and talk about November TBR in terms of the physical book, since I'm not pulling out my Kindle and deciding right now. So I want to knock out 5 physical books from my shelf. So the book, The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartbreak and Magic. And this one I am going to be listening to the audio at the same time, mainly because I put the audio on hold before I got the book. And this is a signed copy, so even once I finish this one, I'm not going to be selling it. So we'll be doing this one. And then I've got The Housemaid's Secret. I've read The Housemaid. It was fantastic. I can't wait to read this one. One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. This is actually this is a book that I'm reading with a smaller book club that I'm in called the Traveling Book Club. Where we basically just, we have been sending a book to each other. But then we decided, we're like, you know what, let's start reading a book a month and having a Zoom and chatting about it. So we're reading One Dark Window. So as soon as I'm done with The Blonde Identity, I'm going to be starting with this one. And then Murder in the Family. Again, this is for the book club girls. Super excited to read this one because I think end of November is when My Joyful Chaos is having our Zoom about this one. Wait, no, we're having our Zoom about this one in December. So this will probably be like an end of November read. And then The Blonde Identity, again, book club girl. And this one we're having our Zoom the end of November-ish. So I'm on page 59. There's only 200 and something pages. Like, I think it's a little bit under 300. So not that bad. Okay, I'm probably about like a fourth of the way through. But yeah, so I'm excited. If I can be able to knock these off my shelf, I will be so happy because that means that I'm actually reading through my physical TBR like I'm supposed to be. All right, and there we go. I'm super excited about this. I have started like compiling things for my reading journal for next year. I'm behind in what I want to do to get it put together, but hopefully, and I will definitely be creating a video of my 2024 reading journal. So definitely stay tuned for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, give it a thumbs up, click subscribe, click that notification bell, and tell me what book are you looking forward to reading in November. Thank you guys so much. Have a good day. Bye. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe and enjoy the next video.